Hey, this is Trey Waldman with Waldman Engineering Consultants. Let's talk about when and how to engage a structural engineer as a part of a big capital repair replacement project. This is something that comes up on occasion, and associations will kind of go about this the wrong way. So I figured we would just go over the general idea of how you want to use a structural engineer to make sure a project is a success. And really that starts at the beginning in the planning phase. In most cases, this project is occurring because, maybe the association had a reserve study that told them the roofs or the, exterior walls are approaching the end of their useful life. So you want to replace these things. Now, what we often see is boards will go directly to contractors, roofing contractors or masonry contractors to give them bids for this project. And that's all well and good if you collect, multiple bids from multiple contractors, but what we're relying on then is for each of those contractors to define the scope of work, to determine what the problem is and what the solution is to that problem. And that's why you should start with a structural engineer. A structural engineer, this is literally what they go to school for and what their qualifications are for. We come out, we, perform an inspection, a site evaluation, determine what the issue is, and then we put together specifications and drawings that resolve whatever the problem is or achieve whatever the goal is of the project. This is the point when you want to then go out to contractors, because the engineer themselves have already defined what the solution is to the problem. The specifications and drawings are there, they're defined. That means every bid that you're getting from contractors, they're bidding on those specifications and drawings. They don't have to determine, the quantities or the attachments, anything like that. It's all defined in the specification. They just have to put their bid together. Now, if you've had an engineer put together these specs and drawings, they will probably also assist you in the bidding process. They'll do a pre-bid interview on site with the contractors, answer any questions they have about the specifications, and then they'll put all the bids together, help the board interview the contractors, and then make sure that the bids are apples to apples. Now, this whole process lets the board select a contractor that they've interviewed and feel comfortable working with. And it also makes sure that they have competitive pricing for the project. And then finally, the last stage of the project is the construction monitoring. This is another crucial part. This is where the engineer, an independent third party acting on behalf of the association, makes periodic site visits throughout the course of the project, and then provides field reports back to the association telling them, how many people were on site, what work has been completed, keeps everyone up to date on how things are going, and keeps that level of transparency between the contractors, the people doing the work, and then the owners, the people that are paying for the work. And this is really important because sometimes people want to skip this step because it is costly, obviously, to pay an engineer to come out and make these site visits. And they'll say, hey, well, how about instead of that, you guys put together the specification. We'll just have you guys come out and perform an inspection after all the work has been completed. And this is a huge mistake. It is going to be far more cost effective and efficient to repair faulty work as it's being completed in the course of the project rather than after everything has been done. So I really advise people against that because it can be extremely costly from both just a financial perspective and also a time perspective. You don't want contractors on site at your properties longer than is necessary because obviously, there is some level of nuisance and interruption to the daily life of the residents and the owners there. That's really the guidance that we give as an engineering firm, that associations should seek out an engineer at the beginning of these projects in the problem definition phase. That's where the most value is going to be achieved. Have a licensed structural engineer, professional engineer, or architect put together the specifications and drawings for the repair project, and then get your bids from your contractors. And that's, having them engaged in that whole process is going to make projects, give them a much higher success rate, make sure that they are much closer to budget,